Hey Stuart,
Hey, Cody, how's it going?
very good. Thanks. How are you today?
Great. Well, thanks a lot for joining us here on SEO Cheat Guides. Really looking forward to hearing your story, sharing it with our audience. So,
Thanks
why
for
don't
having me.
great, thanks for coming out. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, kind of what you're selling, where you're at, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so my name's Cody Butler, and I've got a couple of businesses that are very related to each other. So I have a digital agency which I do pretty much exclusively these days, pay-per-click, Google AdWords specifically. Do a little bit of Facebook, but mostly AdWords, and that's at the end of a long line of iterations. And it started out exclusively as an SEO business, and over the years it's transitioned. So a lot of experience with the SEO side of things, and also offer training and coaching on this stuff as well, how to build an agency and that kind of stuff. So I kind of split my time between those two businesses these days. So that's who I am and where I am currently.
Awesome, awesome. So, what got you started in this business? What were you doing before it? How did you end up landing in the SEO world?
Completely by accident. So a brief history. So I started out in the restaurant industry as a restaurateur. I worked for a fairly large restaurant chain and worked my way up with that company. Ended up buying a restaurant myself. Decided that was a young man's game and didn't really want to do that anymore. It's kind of short-sighted. So I got out of that business about the age of 30. Took a little bit of time out. Started a small construction company, a fencing and paving company, just because I liked being outdoors and it was something that I liked doing. And that was my next business. And I really enjoyed that. I thought I was going to pretty much do that forever, but physically very demanding, and it started to take its toll on my body. And I realized that it wasn't a sustainable long-term business for me. So then I just thought, what do I actually want to do aside from what's practical and stuff like that. And I thought I'd be a musician. So I went to a music college, learned to play guitar, and became a musician for a few years. So that's kind of the short story there. Then I was getting married. How I got into the SEO business was I was getting married, and I'm English, my wife's Australian, and we had to apply for a marriage visa, and it got turned down based on my lack of demonstrable income as a musician, so I had to get a job. So I just Googled top 10 paying jobs 2010, and SEO was on the list, and I did some other searches on well-paid jobs, and SEO was on all of the lists, so I thought SEO is where it's at. So got on Craigslist, looked for some job postings for SEO. There was an agency that was just down the road from me, looking to hire an SEO, so I gave them a call, got an interview for the next day, went to the bookstore, bought SEO for Dummies, read it that night, and that's how I got into it. So I started to work for the agency. That I actually managed to convince them to give me a job based on my reading of SEO for Dummies. And I was terrified. I showed up for work, and I almost walked out the next day. I was so far out of my depth and so uncomfortable, but I stuck with it, and really saw the value of it. Really saw how much money was being made in the industry, and actually got quite good at it. They really taught me the business of SEO, and that's kind of how it started, really, kind of by Googling top 10 jobs of 2010, and it was on the list.
Perfect, perfect. So how did you make the jump from employee to going out on your own? Because I know a lot of people that were watching this show, a lot of them have jobs. Maybe they're doing somewhere between $3,000-$5,000.
Yeah.
Still working the 40-hour work week for the man, and
Yeah.
looking to fire their boss. So I'm sure they'll love to hear some insight.
So I would say, and this is kind of backwards, it's not what most people expect to hear, but as an entrepreneur, we hate the idea of having a job. But actually getting a job was the best thing that ever happened to me. Being forced into that situation through the immigration visa situation was really the best thing, because it provided some capital for me to grow my business, and it gave me the experience of seeing how an agency actually runs. So to answer your question directly, I transitioned gently from the agency into a freelancer, into my own agency. So pretty much I was full-time with the agency. I started looking for just friends' businesses. Basically, I had some friends that were starting businesses, and I managed to talk them into letting me manage their websites and stuff like that. And I had one client, who was a friend, who we were able to launch his business, and he did I think $250,000 in his first year, just purely off the back of SEO. Got a few case studies of my own, and then kind of gently transitioned into it. So once it got to the point to where I could no longer grow what I was doing while still being at the agency, I went and talked to the agency owner and said, "Hey, look, is there any way that I can work from home a couple of days per week?" And he objected to that to start with, but eventually we came to an agreement. I said, "Hey, look, I'm not asking you if I can work from home. I'm politely telling you I'm going to be working from home one way or another." So whether I work for you or whether I don't, that's what we're talking about here. I will be working from home a few days a week.
Yeah.
And he agreed to that at that point, which allowed me to get on the phone with prospects, which was a big thing.
Nice.
And once the agency saw that I was reliable and I was actually doing the work from home, they allowed me to work from home full time, which then really allowed me to comfortably transition into, I would say, being a well-paid freelancer at that point. I wouldn't really call it an agency at that point, but it allowed me to take it to the next step to where I had continuous income, which is very important. You have to have capital if you want to grow a business.
Nice. So when you were transitioning, other than friends, I mean, we all go to friends and family first, but so what were some of the things you were doing to find business in the beginning?
So I knew from working at the agency that SEOs are in demand, and I see the problems that they had hiring SEOs and getting good SEOs, and even just getting qualified applicants, really. So I could see that there was demand within the agency side of things for employees that were qualified. So I just basically started going to job boards and Craigslist, Gumtree, and stuff like that, and looking for agencies that were advertising for SEOs, and offered my services as a freelancer to start with, and that took me to probably went from got up to about $10,000 a month doing that. So I was working for probably I was working for a lot of agencies, but it's the 80-20 rule. A small percentage are going to provide the bulk of your business. So I had 3 agencies that were really sending me a lot of clients, and then maybe 10 other agencies that send me 1 or 2 here and there. And that was the way that I was able to, get to the next run on the ladder, was to leverage, the freelance, being a freelancer to an agency, but working in a more business-like capacity, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So you're out on your own. You're up to 10,000. What were some of the big challenges that you ran into as you were learning as you go? I mean, it wasn't your first business, so you'd been to the rodeo before, but running an SEO business, what were some of the challenges you ran into, and then some of the learning points that maybe you can share with us?
Well, look, there is only one issue. There is only one problem, and that is getting clients through the door. That is the only process within a business that really isn't roadmapped. That you can't go to a website and pay somebody to perform that task competently. So if you've got financial issues, go get an accountant. If you need a web developer, you go get a web developer. If there's a lot of elements to the business that we can focus on. That those elements are readily available to us very inexpensively, and we know how to get them right. We go to job boards, we go to freelance sites, stuff like that. It's very easy to find those elements. The biggest problem that I faced was getting business through the door. That was it. I knew how to do everything else, or at least I knew where to find people to do everything else. So getting people through the door was the biggest challenge that I faced. And in 2010, it was, SEO was a very lucrative business back then. It was the gold rush was going on. It was the heyday. Everybody was getting into it. It was not the next big thing. It was the big thing. So came to the game pretty late in the day, and was still able to grow that business pretty quickly. And I can tell you the secret to that, what the secret to that was, and that was a rock solid guarantee. It was backing my work, putting my money where my mouth was, and the way I solved that problem was to offer the best guarantee in the industry, basically.
Interesting. Okay, so fast forward the 6 years, you're still in this business. So where are you at today in terms of revenue or in terms of clients?
So on the agency side of things, I've got it's a relatively small agency, but my philosophy, my motto is small, nimble, and profitable. My goal is not to grow the size of the agency in terms of systems and clients and stuff like that. The goal is to grow the agency in terms of revenue. So one of the big distinctions that I've made over the years is that you're better having fewer clients that pay higher fees and really being selective about who you work with that's the better way to grow the agency. You're going to make more money for doing less work. You're going to have better clients. It's going to be easier. Your life's going to be easier. Your clients are going to get better results than it is just to continuously pile new clients into your business at, say, $300 to $500 a month, or even $1,000 a month. So at this point, with the agency side of things, I would say I'm more of a high-end service provider. So my minimum fee, monthly retainer, is going to be $1,500. My best client pays around $5,500 a month, somewhere around there. So I've got, I think, approximately 30 clients, and we're turning over roughly $50,000 to $60,000 a month in revenue from those 30 clients at this point. Nice. on the agency side of things.
Perfect. So you obviously figured out how to do it. Are you still attributing this to the rock solid guarantee, or do you have some more tidbits in terms of how people could attract these clients?
Yeah. So a rock solid guarantee is going to be that's a USP that most people are not really willing, especially in the digital consulting industry. You're going to get, well, I don't really know the results you're going to get. We're just going to have to see. I don't really know. It's like you're going to get I don't know a lot as an answer. So if you can back I don't know up with I'm confident we're going to get the results, but if you don't, you're not going to have to pay anything. Or as I do, and this is another distinction as well, as I specialize now. I don't work for any industry. I focus in the on the dental industry.
Okay.
I only work with dentists, so I know pretty much the results. I'm going to get them ahead of time because I've done so many campaigns for dentists that pretty much I know the results. So when I speak with a dentist, a client, I can use concrete language.
Yep.
I can say, hey, look, I can't guarantee you a result. I don't know the result, but based on history and based on what we're getting for other clients, this is a reasonable expectation. And like I say, I can't guarantee a result, but I can guarantee your satisfaction, and I can guarantee your investment.
Nice.
And that's the kind of language that very few people are using. And if you can use and you're willing to use language like that, that's going to be a very big differentiation for you in the marketplace with everybody else. Tangibility.
For sure. So you brought up an interesting point. So you've basically now you work exclusively with dentists. I'm
Yes.
assuming both general and specialists within the dental industry.
Generally, pretty much specialists, to be honest. Yeah. Again, like the more specialist you can go, the easier it is. So, another key distinction I can share with the audience here is not every business wants to grow, but not every business wants to grow generally. Every business wants to grow in a specific direction. So, for example, there's generally an aspect to a business that's high leverage, high profitability that the business owner wants to grow that business in specifically, right? So, for example, underground leak repair plumbers. I've worked with plumbers before, and underground leak repair is a very, very lucrative area of plumbing. They can make as much as $10,000 a day for very little work, and every plumber wants to go in that direction if they can. If they have the capability to do underground leak repair, they want to do it, right? Because they can be unblocking sinks and toilets for $60 an hour, or they can be fixing a leak under your slab for 10 grand. It's a no-brainer. So
unless you're the rental property owner, then you know what you're saying is true.
Exactly. So if I go to a plumber generally and say, hey, Mr. Plumber, would you like me to help you grow your plumbing business? Well, the first thing is I'm probably not the first person to ask him that question today, and he doesn't really want to grow. You're going to hear a lot, well, I've got all the business I can handle right now. So Sure. You've got two major problems there. Whereas if you go to that plumber and you say, hey, I understand you offer underground leak repair, that's correct. If I could specifically help you grow the underground leak repair side of your business, is that something you'd be interested in? Now, that's a completely different proposition. You've immediately differentiated yourself from the competition. You've immediately given them something that they want to say yes to. You've tapped into a desire and an interest within their business that they actively want to grow. And, like I say, businesses generally don't want to grow. As a generality, they want to grow in a specific direction.
Interesting.
So if you're able to identify the specific direction businesses want to grow in, then you can really tailor your marketing and tailor your message into where you're going to be much more potent, you're going to be much more effective. So I go with dental implants with the dentist. Again, that's the high leverage, it's high leverage time-wise, it's high leverage finances-wise for the dentist. It gives them more time freedom for less work. It gives them more money for less work. And if you can help them specifically grow that side of the business, they're going to be interested, and obviously they're going to be willing to pay much, much higher fees for that level of specialization. Does that make sense, Stuart?
It makes a ton of sense. So now that you've dropped that, how would you recommend that people go about learning what that pain point is in a business, or what that greatest opportunity? I mean, essentially what you're saying is where they're going to leverage time for the highest margin for the lowest amount of work.
Yeah.
Does that just come with working in a specific industry and figuring out what those high margin products are?
So that's one way to do it. So a good way to do it would be look at your best clients, look at your best performing clients, the clients you're getting your best results for within your stable of clients already. That's going to give you a good indication, because obviously you know you can get results in that area. Those clients are going to be very happy to talk to you. So talk to them, ask them questions. The other thing is forums, join forums for industries that you're potentially interested in. So, and this is a great way to get marketing copy as well, right? This is a great way to get to hone in your message and get ad copy and email copy and direct mail copy and stuff like that. Is if you go to a forum where people are asking questions, so if it's a forum for dentists, and LinkedIn's a good place for this, like LinkedIn groups and stuff like that, where you've got specialist groups, look at the questions that are being asked on a regular basis. If you start to see a pattern in questions that are being asked, then that's going to be some great copy for ads and stuff like that. If you can answer those questions in your ad copy, then obviously you're tapping into an interest and a desire. And just join those groups, participate in those groups. You know, you've got to. There's no reward without effort. There's no gain without pain. You've got to do your market research. You've got to spend your time in the trenches. You've got to pay your dues. And getting in the trenches, getting in forums, talking to existing clients. That's going to be a great way to find out what needs there are in the marketplace.
Fantastic. So how do you currently divide your time? So you say you like fewer amount of clients, small staff. So what do you currently divide your time? How do you divide your time? And kind of give us an idea of
Sure.
how that plays out.
So as I said, I've got kind of two businesses that are very complementary. They run side by side. So I've got the done for you side of things, the agency side, and then I also teach this stuff as well, which I really enjoy. So, you know, as divided time between two businesses is probably about 50-50 at this point. As far as dividing my time from a productivity standpoint within those businesses, I would say 80% of my time is spent on sales and marketing. 70 to 80% of my time is spent on sales and marketing. So a big mistake that I see people making quite often, particularly in the early days, is they really focus on customer service. And if you just look at that word, it's customer service. Customer comes before service. And a lot of people, they tend to focus on the servicing side of things, and they spend probably 70 to 80% of their time on the service side, which is great. You've got to deliver a great product. Don't get me wrong. Nobody can help you if you don't have a fantastic product offering. You've got to have that dialed in. But at the end of the day, without customers, there's nothing to service. It's customer service. Get a customer, service them. And pretty much, you know, as I said earlier on, it's like when it comes to the servicing side of things, readily available. It's readily available. You know, I could have 20 people within an hour who are qualified and competent offering to work on a project for me for pennies on the dollar. Basically, it's like there's not a lot of value as far as your time goes being spent on focusing on that stuff. The real value comes from focusing on getting clients through the door. And, you know, a business to me is, my definition of a business is it's a profitable commercial enterprise that works without me. It's profitable, it's commercial, and it works without me. So as the visionary of the business, as the head of the business, it's like my focus is on how to get it profitable, how to get it commercial, and how to really get it working without me. And the working without me is easy. We can go to job boards and find people to do that for us. The profitable and commercial, that's a little bit harder. So as the visionary, it's my job to really focus on that, and that's where 80% of my time, focus, and effort goes to, really, I would say.
Fantastic. So other than the boards on LinkedIn, where do you go to for either marketing knowledge or for business knowledge overall? Any recommendations for people in that area?
Yeah, so getting involved in forums like your forum is a great way. Dealing with other people, getting involved with people that have the knowledge already is very good as well. So you know, one of the things I would have done earlier on, had I known, I would have got smarter quicker.
Okay.
You know, you don't know what you don't know is one of the truths of life, and it's like I didn't know what I didn't know, and unfortunately I thought I knew a lot more than I actually did, and it wasn't until I actually started working with people that had the knowledge and had the understanding. And even to this day, I've taken on a coach recently that's just like, whoa, it opened up a whole world of opportunity to me that I just didn't even know was there, let alone accessing it. So, understand that you don't know what you don't know.
Okay.
And keeping that open-mindedness, and it's not necessarily working with me or working with you or working with anyone in particular. It's just understanding that you don't know what you don't know. There's a bigger world out there, and making an effort to access that world, whether it be through training, whether it be through teaching, whether it be through forums, whatever. There's a number of ways that you can access that knowledge.
Fantastic. So you've gone down the coaching road, so I'd be curious. I've done it myself, usually through mentoring, but I'd be interested to hear your insight into how one should go about finding a coach, or what are some things that they should be looking for when going out to find a coach.
So you want to find somebody who has the outcome that you're looking for.
Okay.
That's the bottom line. It's like, if you do what the person that's mentoring you or teaching you does, you will get the results that they get. So that's really the big thing right there, is you've got to find people that they don't talk the talk, they walk the walk. You've got to look at their results. You've got to look at their outcomes. You've got to look at what they've got going on. Because if you do what they teach you to do, then the chances are you will get the results that they get. It's maybe a little bit this way or maybe a little bit this way, but an apple is not going to turn into an orange. So that would be my best advice when looking for a mentor and a coach. It's have a look at the results that they're getting in their life, and don't just look at their business. Now, as entrepreneurs, we get really tunnel vision towards business, but if you're stressed out all day long, all night long, you can't sleep, you've got ulcers, you're addicted to email, you can't relax, but you're making the money, well, who cares, right? So it's not just, and this is kind of why I've gone down the small but profitable. I've increased my fees, reduced my level of clients, because I learned that lesson early on. It's like, you can have a successful business and be miserable. So when you're looking for mentors or just people to look at, really to model, look at their whole life. Look at everything they've got going on. Are they emotionally stable? Do they have a great business? Are they happy in their relationships? Because if they can teach you how to be happy in business, but the byproduct of that is miserable everywhere else, then we've bent down and picked up the penny and missed the dollar. So that would be some advice too. Is approach business and life from a holistic point of view. It's not just about making money. It's about enjoyment, peace, love, happiness, and all of that good stuff as well.
Fantastic. Great. So what haven't I asked you that I should have asked you that you'd like to share with our audience?
Let's have a look here. So some of the things that maybe that a younger me would advise a younger me to do, that I know now that I didn't really know then, and really advice that I have to give myself on a daily basis as well. It's not just a younger me, it's a continuous thing. And really, if I could give some advice to everybody out there, that there's a few pieces of advice that I would like to share that I think are really going to help you and help you enjoy the journey. And that really is my first piece of advice, is enjoy the journey. Enjoy where you are. It's like, if you're in a job, don't despise the job. Look to how that job is a platform to leverage you to the next level. Enjoy it, because I can tell you, looking back, some of my happiest memories were in the hardest times. When I look at the struggles that I had, and I look at the camaraderie I had with the people around me, and I look at everything that was going on in that time of my life, some of the happiest times were the hardest times, and some of my fondest memories were of those times of struggle. So don't despise, if you're struggling now, don't despise it. Find a way to enjoy it. Enjoy the journey, because it's necessary. Where you are is absolutely necessary. And looking back, I can see that every struggle that I went through, every phase that I went through, some I enjoyed, some I didn't. I can see the necessity of that stage of the process. It was all necessary to get where I am. So enjoy the journey. Don't be in a hurry to get to where you go, and just enjoy it a little bit, and trust yourself. That would be a big thing I would say too. Trust yourself. Trust that you're competent. Trust that you're going to find a way through the problems that you're facing right now. Trust yourself, because at the end of the day, we train other people how to treat us, how other people view us is how we view ourselves. How other people respond to us essentially is how we respond to ourselves. If we're happy to waste our own time, then other people will be happy to waste our time. You know, if we're happy to be slow on paying our bills, other people will be happy to be slow on paying their bills to us. So we train people basically on how to behave towards us. And trust is everything. If trust is everything in business. If people trust you, they'll do business with you. And if you don't trust yourself, how can anybody else trust you? So trust that you have the competence and the skills and the ability to find a solution. And I don't have the answers to all the questions. I really don't. But I know that I have the wherewithal and the resources within myself to find the answers to all of the questions. And whatever struggle I face, whatever problem I face, I know that I have the ability to find a solution to that problem, or at the very least, find somebody who has a solution to that problem. So just trust yourself, really, would be a big thing. And I think probably the greatest piece of advice that is going to really impact people the most, if they can take it to heart. Everybody wants buttons to push and strategies to implement and tactics to execute and stuff like that, but that's not where it is, Stuart. That's not where success lies. I can tell you where the success lies, and that's in knowing why you're doing what you're doing. It's knowing why you want what it is that you want, and having a compelling why, having a compelling vision.
I got them behind me. I keep the pictures behind me.
Look, and kids will do it for you. Like if you want to jump your business to the next level quickly, go have a kid.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you, I use this example, why versus the why versus the tactics and strategies and stuff like that. If you took and God forbid this, Stuart, if somebody took one of your children and said, you have 1 year from today to make $10 million, you've got to do it legitimately, you can't use any of your existing knowledge, it has to be legal, and you've got 1 year to do it from today, or else unfortunately you're not going to see your child again. You don't know how exactly you're going to do that, but my money's on you because your why is big enough. My money's on you. You will find the how because your why is big enough to make it happen. So if you can find a big enough why, if you can really get in touch with why you want this business, you can get in touch with why it is that you're trying to do what it is that you're doing, and you can grow that in your mind. And a secret here, a hint, the why has to be bigger than you.
Sure.
The why can't be about you. Like as you say, your kids, that's a significant why that's significantly bigger than you. And as a result, my money is on you to succeed in whatever it is that you do. So like I say, my money is on the person to make that $10 million, as opposed to the other person who has all the skills in the world, but they don't really have a very big why as they need to do it. So find your why. Find your why. Write it down. Take a picture of it, and if you can do that, then everything else will it'll be drawn to you. It'll come to you, and you'll get the result that you're looking for ultimately.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for joining us here. Before I let you go, where can people find you online? I've got CodyButler.com, but should they look for you on Facebook? Where should they get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. CodyButler.me is a good place. I've got a couple of websites. I think CodyButler.com forward to that. So CodyButler.me, there's information on there. You can there's some free trainings on there. I've got 2 or 3, 4 maybe free trainings that are going to really help. If you're looking to generate new clients, then some great trainings there you can sign up for, get that information for free. Yeah, look me up on Facebook, Cody Butler, you'll find me. That's where you can find me.
Perfect. I'll link to it for sure. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us here at SEO Cheat Guides. And if anyone watching liked this content, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you, Stuart. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, Cody.